right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Talkin' Trash. I'm your host, Tim Snyder. We got a great episode lined up for you. The boys were awesome. Let's take a look at them. There they are. Band's getting back together. I don't know. We didn't get to talk about P. Diddy or the bridge collapse or Roadhouse, but it was 50 minutes of solid gold as far as recovery goes. We hit 10 different topics. We came at it from 10 different angles. It's just a blessing to have these guys in my life and to be able to share the message on this platform. There was a time in my life where I never thought I'd be doing anything like this. And my testimony is my truth, and I don't mind sharing it. And I certainly don't hide it. So that being said, let's get into the episode of Nick, Tim, and Mike Talking Trash, episode 11. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Talkin' Trash. I'm your host, Tim Snyder. Along with me here are two very good friends, my co-host, Nick D'Angelo and Mike Oxley. Hey, boys.
Sir, how we doing? Mike, how's everything?
Hello, audience. How are you?
I'm going to say they're doing good because we're in their lives. This is episode 11. It's going pretty good. We're covering basically anything in the scope of addiction recovery, coming at it from very different angles. We got a lot of knowledge between the three of us. We'll mess around a little bit here, too. So we'll be going down the line here. Mike Oxley, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
I feel good. I had a good Easter. Did I tell you that because of the podcast, I got recognized on Easter?
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Is this a recognition?
It was my mother. She's
That's
80.
what I was just going to say, yeah.
Well, my mom's having a good day.
My mom, the same thing. So you're feeling all right? You're physically, mentally?
Feeling great. I'm ready for the weather to change. It's freaking cold up here in New Jersey, and it's wet and rainy.
Me and Nick can tell you down here. I mean, I'm hot right now. It was like 78 degrees today.
Yeah. Like I said, Tim, I'm pretty mad you told me to turn the fan off because I'm already sweating.
I'm sweltering too. My fan's off too, so we're both sweating. We're both struggling here. Nick
in the Delaware Valley up here.
What's that?
We had the wettest March on record officially.
In the Delaware Valley?
Yep, the wettest March on record.
It was cold and wet though, right?
Yep.
I don't know. So I'm not up there anymore. So I have no idea.
It was wetter than a stripper with a $5 bill printer.
I was trying to make a good joke like that, but I can't beat that.
No, Mike just got you.
Yeah,
Nick D'Angelo, how are you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm a little beat up today, Tim.
Yeah.
Hiking down in Georgia got me good.
Yeah.
Got me good.
Hiking cuts into my sitting around time. You know what I mean? So I don't do it.
You would have thought I ran a decathlon. Then my girl's sister was like, "Oh, we're only at a half mile," and I'm like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!"
Was it uphill? Any of it? Obviously,
dude,
probably.
The whole thing.
It can't be. You got to walk downhill at some point,
dude. Yeah. So you go in
like
a circle up to the top. So you're going this way, then you go this way, then you go this way, and there's like roots, and it's like, wow, trees, wow, great view, more roots, rocks, random crap. Then we're like, oh, pretty waterfall. Like it was, my girl wanted to see the waterfall. So we get to the top, and then you're at the top of the waterfall. We wanted to see the bottom, but then the bottom's closed. They're like, oh, but you can walk down steps. And we're like, okay, well, I don't know if I want to do that because it was 427 steps down, and then you have to walk 427 steps up.
Yep.
I said, I'd rather just jump over.
Right.
So
just jump off. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I've been down here for a little bit, and I've seen some really cool stuff over here. I didn't realize there was Georgia was so carved up with mountains and stuff like that.
It's a cool spot. It's a great spot. I'll personally never live here, but it was a great spot.
You're in LJ where my friend loves mayonnaise.
Oh God,
that's LJ. That's where he's from. So he does love mayonnaise on his bananas.
I'm not gonna lie. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
That's one of the most gay things I can think of.
It's possible.
Listen, whoever your buddy is, I'm sure he's a great guy. but I will never. I don't think I could do that. Honestly, that's the second time I've seen that photo. I might throw up again. That's so.
Yep.
That's really bad.
Well,
And
only
it's not even
because
good
it's
mayonnaise
topic
either.
poignant. Only because you're in LJ and that's where he's from, and they put mayo on their freaking bananas.
I'll bring that up to my girl and see what she says. Maybe we'll go for mayo bananas later.
Ooh, that sounds
maybe they got
nice.
them at the $75 Generals they got down on the
Oh my god,
the highway
Yeah.
down here.
Dollar
Oh,
General,
yeah.
Dollar Tree, like nothing's worth over $1 down here.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's great though.
Dollar Tree just upped their price to $1.44 or something. So now it's no longer Dollar Tree. Now it's $1.44.
I mean, has it ever been $1, dude? Like,
$1.06, I guess, 7% sales.
I have
tax
never
or whatever.
spent it's all bullshit.
Yep.
I call bullshit.
Agreed. So everybody's doing good. That's nice to see.
Yeah.
I'll just throw this out there. We filmed last night, and I had some technical issues, and we lost the entire show. So bear with us if we're not as excited about certain topics, but we're all good. The three of us, we know how to mix it up, so we'll be fine.
Yeah, we're good.
So
We'll make it.
the audience should know that's the second time I had to see the banana with the mayo picture.
Right.
It's not any less gay.
Okay. I
than
know
it
you
was
feel it's.
yesterday.
I know you feel it's gay. I find
And
it
I'm
just
pretty
disgusting
woke.
in general.
I'm pretty woke.
Yeah, you're
God.
pretty woke. I mean, listen, I just find it disgusting in general. I don't even look at it as homosexual. I just think it's the grossest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
I put mayonnaise on a lot of shit.
A lot of stuff. My
But
ex-girlfriend.
that is definitely not one of the things where I'm like, let me peel a banana and put that
There
there.
was the quarterback, Will Levis, I think from North Carolina.
Yeah.
He does the mayo in his coffee. Did you know that?
Yeah, I'm not good. I'm not
Yeah,
okay with
he does
that.
mayo in his coffee, and it was such a big deal after the draft when he started for Tennessee this year. He actually, I think it's called Duke's.
Oh, that's what we have down here. Yep.
Yep, Duke's Mayo signed him to a lifetime contract.
Are you kidding me?
Not kidding you. He got an endorsement deal from his mayonnaise and his coffee.
Duke's mayo is disgusting. Like, we used to have Hellman's or up there we have Hellman's, right?
Yeah, and then there was Miracle Whip, I guess.
Miracle Whip, but they're two different things. They're different textures or
We're
whatever.
not getting in the whole Miracle Whip nonsense. That's some bullshit. We're not.
Nick's right.
It's Hellman. Come on already.
I know.
The ladies used to call me Miracle Whip, but
we are 6 minutes in and you're off the rails already, Mike.
Off the rails.
Off the rails.
Great start. Let's do it.
A real good start. Coming in hot. Yeah, I don't know. We're just keeping it. I got a lot of recovery stuff going on. I have a lot of interest from the recovery community. It's kind of exciting because I didn't know what direction this podcast was going to take, and it makes sense. Our bread and butter is recovery. I mean, you go down the line here, and we all know our stuff. And I'm getting hundreds of messages about recovery. They want to see recovery. I think we do a nice job of mixing it up a little bit, but there's a lot to talk about because recovery is an ever-evolving beast, right? So it's like it's different today than it was yesterday, and I'm fresh off of it. Nick's well off of it, but knows his shit. And Mikey is clinical as they come. So we are very fortunate to have all three of us here.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm friends with 1,000 people on Facebook all of a sudden. All those, I'm just add friend. I've had a few people that I shouldn't have, according to my kids. But a couple people that don't really like me. So it's just all those mutual friends. Now I'm getting up to like 140 mutual friends, 80 mutual friends. It's all recovery based. It all started from a little recovery nugget and exploded into, I don't even know. It's happening now. So this is a big broadcast.
There's a need, evidently.
There's a need. Yep.
Awesome.
Without us having Nick, you or I having a vested interest on what they do and where they go for their treatment or where they buy their books or buy their supplies for recovery. We don't have a vested interest in any of that. I'm just trying to be straight with you, and so are you guys. So maybe there's a need for real honest pre-recovery talk.
We don't make any money. We just do this for us and people who are hurting. If someday a sponsor wants to sponsor up, we'll put that money back into the community somehow. After we all take our little slice of the pie. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, 10%.
But for sure, we just do this for people who are struggling and don't know where to go for information, because we are a wealth of knowledge. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but
yeah,
we do know a lot of stuff. So we'll just kind of segue into it. The first topic I was thinking of, and it's a hot button issue because recoveries in New Jersey, at least, and down here, it's not tailored to recovery. It's you're inpatient for 28 days. You skip over the PHP thing. That would have been only another 30 days. And then boom, you're in an Oxford house around other people that aren't serious about it. What do? You go to AA meetings. That's the paradigm we have set up for recovery in New Jersey, at least.
Yeah.
Inpatient, Oxford house, maybe IOP if anybody even cares to do that. And then meetings. So like you can find wherever you're at, you can find the good in things, and you can find recovery. It doesn't matter where you are. If you want it bad enough, you'll find it. But some people are not to that point, and they need more treatment. I mean, I always said 90 days away from the substance. I don't know if it's inpatient or PHP or whatever, but 90 days really should be, and it's still nothing, but it's a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
And that's what I always thought. At least 60. 28 is not enough.
No.
You're not physically better. You're mentally, you don't know what you're thinking. So I'm segueing into the fact that you go into an Oxford house, you go to AA meetings. I'll be honest with you, if it's a 10-man Oxford house, 5 of them are probably using or going to use or getting kicked out, and they can easily take you out. I was one of those people a couple of times.
It's not real life yet. It's not real life. I always wish, and Nick, I don't know how you feel about it, but I wish there was like a practice week of real life after you leave addiction treatment.
Yeah.
Like that you could go home or we could have a different wing that has a fake mom there going to break your balls and going to bring up shit you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how practical that is, but
and accuse you of taking too long at Wawa where you drinking while you were out at Wawa. All the stuff that you're going to get from your loved ones that care, that can throw you off the rails just as easy. I always thought the rule was you have 3 times. You go home to your wife, and she accuses you of drinking, and you're not drinking because you got had a couple extra headlights, or were on the phone, or you're acting kind of tired. Are you using? This is the wife to the husband. You get some pills today because you're really acting. No, I worked a double shift. That's why I'm tired.
Right.
You get like, what took you so long to go around to the gas station? Like, did you stop somewhere?
Sure.
You only get 3 of those, You get like 3 strikes. And then what I find with addicts is the 4th time they're going to say, you know what? Fuck you.
I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm going to go drink.
Yep.
I'm tired of it.
Agreed.
That's it. So I wish there was a way to kind of put people in a little more lifelike situations before they rejoined the fray at work and friends and family.
I got like a whole bunch of shit on this. Because for me, I had no other way to go. Right. I couldn't get into treatment because I wasn't addicted to the hardcore drugs. I guess meth, for the people I was talking to, wasn't hardcore enough, or crack. No big deal. Drinking every day, whatever. Who's keeping track?
Who cares?
But I went to an IOP. I didn't get into the inpatient and things like that. But from when I did, like, I was in a house for 2 months called, it was called Stevens Place. It helped me, gave me some of the tools I needed. I needed that house, even though it was only 2 months. Then I went and lived in Oxford. I went to a meeting, had a guy from my IOP say, look, me and you, let's move into this Oxford house and let's turn this shit around. Let's all bring in people that are going to be serious, and let's make this the best house in this area. In Ventnor, Atlantic City, Egg Harbor Township, there was
a million of them.
Between Serenities and Oxfords, there's 15 houses, but
I know.
We took it very serious. I think that the one issue that I realized when I worked at the rehab that we all were working at one point was you can't admit that you're powerless and you can't accept that you have a problem. I mean, you can accept you have a problem, obviously, while you're in treatment, but to go through the steps, a lot of people go through the steps while they're in rehab.
Yeah, that's not.
I think that's a load of shit. Honestly.
There's a load of shit right there.
Because how I could definitely tell you right now in a meeting in these safe walls with other addicts who are in a building with me for 30 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is. Yeah, of course, I'm done drinking, but it's what you're going to do when you're driving down the street. Are you accepting you have a problem then? Are you being powerless? Like, all that step work you just did in the rehab is now out the window.
Out the window.
Out the
real
window.
World use. Real world.
It's the real world stuff. So me personally, I knew that even though when I got out of the Oxford houses, I was in recovery houses for 20 months. I knew the real work was going to start when I got out.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's what you're going to do when you're in there.
Yeah.
First of all, people try to go home. It's not a good idea. Like Mike just talking brought me back to my mother. All of a sudden, all these situations she wants to start bringing up. Oh, why'd you do this? Remember that one time you stole jewelry? Oh, hey, you were out for an hour and a half. I need you to take a piss test. Oh, this piss is cold. What'd you do? Did you hide it in your under your nuts? Like, that's overwhelming. And yes, that's going to cause us addicts or alcoholics, whatever your twist is, to go use after a while.
You don't need much of an excuse, right?
And you don't. No. And if you are being blamed for something that you didn't do, which has happened to me a lot in my life.
Okay.
There's
it's
things
still happening, Tim.
Right. It still happened. Right. Exactly. But like, I've been in a position where like, I didn't do what you're saying that I did. I've done other things in the past where I have done what they're accusing me of. So
yeah,
I was just in a point where like, you want to piss me? Piss me. Whatever.
But
yeah, there's a lot of times with people who are being accused of.
Knock it off.
There's a lot of times where people are being accused of doing something, and they're just in early recovery. They're not strong enough, and they're like, "F it, I'll just do it anyway." And that's a terrible way
I'm accused of it. You accused me 3 times, like the 3-strike rule I was talking about. You go home to your wife, and she asks you 3 times, you're not acting right. Were you drinking today? And you weren't.
Right.
Yeah. You're going to go. You're going to say, that's it. Gloves are off. I'm in.
This goes along with.
All right, you guys got to go. Come on, get.
People who go through the process, right? Obviously, a lot of them don't treat these houses as their home.
Right.
This is just the next step for them to get to where they needed to go.
It's a pit stop.
It's a pit stop. Me personally, and I tried to get my guys to do this because unconditionally at a certain point, I was like the go-to guy in my house.
Right.
I worked for I was a chapter guy for the Oxford people. I was keeping my house in check. You got labels in your house.
Well, it sounds like the first time you from IOP went in there with the right mindset. You knew it wasn't home. You know it was another stepping stone.
Yeah.
And you knew that going in.
Well, I also knew that if I messed up, I'm homeless. It's as simple as that.
Some people aren't like that. They can mess up and somebody else,
Well, you know what? I mean, my parents at a certain point, I didn't talk to them for a couple of months. My dad, I didn't talk to for the first 9 months. First month we did, he was all hoorah, motivational stuff, which I now love. Back then, when you're getting high and you're drinking, the last thing you want to do is wake up after a bender and hear some motivational quote.
Yeah, you mentioned it with your dad. Yeah.
But, now it's like, I love that. Back then I did not. And we had our issues. So we didn't talk for almost 9 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mother, we had our issues because she started bringing back all these things that was from the past. And when you're just getting out of treatment and you're still trying to find out who you are.
Yeah.
And the damage that I caused is incredible. Like there's no saying anything bad, like whatever, but the overwhelming shit that she would bring up, I personally am not ready to talk about it.
Right.
Conversations are meant to be had when you're ready. You are strong enough to say, hey, look, I'm not comfortable with answering this right now, But when I'm ready, we will talk about it.
Right. And a lot of family doesn't have that patience. You know, they've been dealing with your
Answers
stuff.
now.
They want the answers right now. Now that you're clean, I can see her. Now I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
And, you know, they don't have the patience that unfortunately somebody in that position needs. I mean, we're coming at it from an addiction standpoint. Family doesn't, you know, they'll put up with 30 days or whatever, but they don't want to hear it. Like once you get home and the bills need to be
he's
paid.
home, he's better. I'm going to let him have it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you know what? That's what I'm saying. Maybe you could develop him with your abilities, or Nick, like a Sims game, and you pick the Jewish mother, the absentee father, and put them back into the Sims life so they can run what it's really going to be like when you go home.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll work on it. I don't know if we have the capital to start something like that.
It's tough. I'm going to touch on it.
You jealous sister.
It's the fact of we don't understand what the parents go through, you know, or your significant other. We don't know because who you are as an addict is not who you are when you're getting clean.
Well
and that's
said.
the stuff
You're
you
right.
got to work on. You got to accept the stuff. You got to embrace the past. And that's the thing that drives people off the wall, too. So people will also, like, there's that. Like, I didn't live with my mother for, I'll just say 9 years. Kicked out at 18. Haven't lived with her since. I'm 33 years old. Grown up man child, you know. So it's like I had 8 years where I didn't live with her, almost 9. And you would have thought that I was using right in front of her in her house.
Right.
How much it affected her. But our actions affect people. It affects friends. It affects family. I had no one come into my house. I lived by myself with my dog. We would get high. Me and the dog. I would get high. And then nobody would come hang out with me. You know?
Yeah.
No one would come. Why? Because who wants to hang out with me for what I was doing? But I ended up accepting the fucking past, accepting change, embracing the past. I can't feel guilt for all the people I hurt because I could have a whole list of people and there'd be all question marks because I can't remember all their names.
Yeah.
But you just gotta embrace it.
So for addicts in early recovery, my advice would be this: take your chip off your shoulder. And I don't mean that in a cold way. I mean that in
pride and ego at the door.
Right, because you're sober now. I'm 5 minutes sober. Why do you have to hide your purse? I mean, like,
and there's people that love you that unintentionally will chop you up, and they don't even know they're doing it.
But if you're in the mindset of being humble and that's just how you're going to be, and you're going to accept how other people treat you, if you're in that mindset and you put yourself last and you put your ego aside, you can deal with that. Somebody can falsely accuse you and you just throw your hands up rather than biting their head off. You know what I mean? So like, it's important to realize where you're at. A month earlier, you were just shooting up with puddle water and stealing your mommy and daddy's money. Yeah, maybe they're not going to be super trustworthy with you. And that's something you just have to, for me, I had to embrace it and just be like, I hurt people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And meaning it. And, you know, if you don't have that mindset, somebody's going to set you off and you're going to be like, how dare you? You know, so.
Well, like, look, we've spoken about this on another episode where people get a certain amount of time clean, sober. All of a sudden they know everything.
Sure.
You know, they know everything. Like I said, I came down here, dude. I mean, I was at an intervention. I didn't know what the hell I was. I didn't know if I was gay, straight, what left was right, was upside down this. I didn't know where I was, dude. I'm getting freaking shredded with meth for weeks, dude. Sleeping for like 20 minutes every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And not eating. I'm not brushing my teeth. I got dental issues. I got bodily function issues. You know what I mean? I haven't taken a shit in 3 weeks. Now, all of a sudden, I could tell you what I want to do with my life after I just snorted my life away for however long. Like, you got to accept the process, man, and just give it up. I went to him. I was sitting in a meeting like this, you know, like, I'm sorry, the light. I'm all tough. I'm off the streets. I'm chilling, you know, for 2 weeks in IOP. They didn't answer nothing. Nick, how you feeling today? Pass. You know, fuck that. I don't got to share about my feelings. I don't got to talk about nothing. Then all of a sudden I went from this, then I'm like this, then I'm more attentive. And then next thing you know, I'm starting to share about my feelings, you know, and I'm sitting in a meeting and I hear some guy talking about, you know, shooting dope and stuff like that. And I didn't shoot dope, but everything he did to get the dope was the same thing that I did to get the meth.
Right. So
So
it's
it
not the
doesn't matter what
substance.
drugs you're doing; it's all the same.
It's the mindset. It doesn't matter which drugs you're on or what you're doing. It's the behavior.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when I relapse way before I relapsed. You know what I mean? Like little things. And I know you hear this a lot, but like I start stealing lollipops from Walmart. I start doing little behaviors where well, if you have a full cart, you can pretty much steal whatever you want.
Yeah.
But these little behaviors, it's the slip before the fall. And when you have that ego, you take down your walls and your defenses. Or no, I'm sorry. When you don't have an ego, the walls come down. Your defense mechanisms are shut off a little bit, and you're not setting yourself up for failure. You can set yourself up for a relapse way before you relapse, and you don't even know you're planning it, but you are.
Yeah. Facts.
This is why I stress from a medical point of view and the word dual diagnosis.
Yeah.
You got to work on yourself the whole time.
Yep.
You may work on yourself twice as long as you were an addict so far.
Right.
Or you're going to be an addict twice as long as you worked on yourself. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
So people just kind of get, look, I'm not doing drugs anymore. I'm in a good way. And they get too comfortable. They stop working on themselves. Not so much the steps. Because like you said, the steps are about where you are.
Sure.
You can't, like you said, Nick, I saw it all the time. People working on their steps on day 3 of rehab.
Right.
I mean, come on, man.
And they're putting too much pressure on themselves too. They're like, I got to get this done. Like a lot of people,
like it's a driver's test or something. No, no, it's not.
It's
but as long as they're on the right antidepressants,
lifelong. Nick's got that right. It's a lifelong process,
dude.
Right. And the anxiety meds that maybe start you down the road, maybe something to calm you down a little bit because in the beginning your mom or your wife is going to be bringing up shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Things like that, as long as you're open and conscious of it, something that takes a little edge off that'll help you take the lashing a little bit better coming out of rehab. Right. I was always a proponent of that.
This all kind of ties in with what we were just talking about, what your resources are when you get out of rehab. AA, while you're in rehab, you can listen to it, but don't start writing down your steps because you have no idea what you're doing.
Right.
You're just replacing one addiction with another. Relax, sit back and listen. Like if you're not listening, if you're talking the whole time, you are not getting it. And I can say that.
And they do it with religion too.
They do it with religion too. So we go.
They're addicted to God, right?
We talk about the steps, and I'm talking now when you got out of rehab. You just did 24 days. Your insurance kicked you out, and now you're in some Oxford house. You don't know what's left from right. Don't know who to trust. But a bunch of guys are going to the AA meeting, or there's guys going to the AA meeting down the street. Half of them, actually, most of them, are going there to meet girls, right? So there's the path of recovery for you that's set up is very narrow, and it's easy to go off on either side. So we look at AA as a whole. For me, that was all there. I've been to 10,000 AA meetings. I've never done the steps. Not something I'm proud to admit, but I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you.
Listen, Tim, I'm 7.5 years clean. I got to step 4.
Right, exactly. Like,
let me be honest.
Whatever path works for you.
See, you know what got me though? Sorry to cut you off. I personally, and this is my recovery, right? My recovery. I learned how to live inside the rooms of recovery, meetings, sponsorship, network, and I learned how to live outside the rooms of recovery. People, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, people devote everything, which is perfect. 90 and 90.
Yep.
You get a home group. You get commitments. My one sponsor said making coffee at the Pleasantville meeting saved his life.
Yeah.
And I took that and I said, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can. I did everything I can.
Yeah.
But then again, if there wasn't a meeting,
right,
I didn't call my sponsor freaking out. There was someone I talked to with 3 years clean one time. I had 18 months. You got 3 years clean. You're still in an Oxford house. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's snowing, so there's no meeting. You would have thought the world was over.
Yeah. Then that's, and
like,
for me,
after a while, it's like, come on, you got to learn how to do things other than just that.
You're right.
Go call somebody, network. That's what it is. Networking, call a fellow addict, hang out. Like it was me, her friend, Joe Schmo, her other roommates. We're all hanging out. So more than a couple of addicts talking about feelings and stuff is a meeting in itself.
It is.
So I don't know why, but some people just get so hopped up
I know.
You know.
I know. Well, like I've been to so many meetings, and I can tell you the AA preamble, and like I took it for what it was. A lot of people, the meetings are their recovery. They do nothing other than go into meetings. They don't even understand what they're repeating. Uh, they, oh, I don't like this meeting because they talk about God, and like, well, all the 12 steps are about a spiritual awakening. So if you don't want that, maybe you go find
Open-mindedness.
right. So like, you don't have to believe in God right off the bat. I mean, you were just believing in a needle for 5, 10 years. Like, maybe you should just take it
Right.
slow and not put the pressure on yourself. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've took me a few times to figure this out because it takes you a few times to navigate what's right and what's not. And it's a tough thing to navigate. And since I've done it, Nick, you've done it, Mike, you've seen it inside and out. This is what we're here for. This is what we're here for because
one of the things that I worked on, I went to AA and NA.
Yeah, me too.
Right? Because I don't know what my niche is. I know a guy, Mr. B, he was a complete meth tweaker his whole life. He had 25 years in AA. Okay? I know another guy who drank himself to freaking oblivion. He's got 22 years in, NA. So the thing
is just something that clicks with them? Is that what you're saying? Just go as long as
you go and find out where you feel comfortable.
You're saying it's the structure.
What is your safe haven? Where are you gonna enjoy?
The NA group in Lakehurst is not the NA group in Point Pleasant. Like it's totally different. You find your group.
Look, I had a rhythm. I went to noon, ACYP, Venice Park in Atlantic City, noon every day, Monday through Friday. Saturdays too, I think. I don't remember. Then I would go to an NA meeting at nighttime every day. So people are always like, if you're AA, oh, NA, oh, you're NA, oh, AA, oh my God, whatever.
Keep it in the bottle.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Who the freak cares? But look, when I would be running groups in the treatment, you had most of the NA people, the people getting high, dope, this, that, meth, tweakers. It was a lot of younger crew.
Yeah.
The AA guys were a lot older. So I would I would run groups, and this is how I personally would try to get people to gel together. Regardless of if you shot.
Oh no, Nicky. Where did he go?
Narcotics.
Oh, okay.
Am I still there? I froze up.
We lost you for a second.
Okay. But unless you drove had a whole thing, right? Who here used to drink and drive or get high and drive? You'd have guys from AA, you have guys from NA. Who here stole money from their parents or a loved one to get high or get drunk? People would raise their hands. Who here has ever done XYZ? I'd ask 4 different questions, right? Next thing you know, you got half the guys from AA, half the guys from NA. They're all agreeing on the same thing. So it's like, why are we putting such a label on these things when we could all learn from each other and all learn age gap? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you find that the AA guys are more staunch in their ways and less flexible? The AA?
You're there, Nick.
Bill's book?
There it is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's all good.
Say that again, Mike.
Do you feel that the AA guys are less flexible in their thinking towards recovery? That Bill's book, AA, is more stringent than NA, or not? Do you feel like they're more guaranteed?
I used to say a lot of AAs, a lot of the older generation, so they're like thumpers. They want no change. This is what helped me. This is what Bill wrote. This has been here for however many years. Why are we going to change it? You know what
you're right. I mean, listen. Here's a perfect example. CA. Have you ever been to a CA meeting?
Yeah, that shit gets wild.
Crazy town. It's absolute crazy town. You won't see many old heads in there. They have all these sayings that they throw back. It's hysterical.
It's a great time.
It's a great time. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I don't like that part. It's still for anywhere more than an hour. But it is a whole new generation's. All right, AA, you don't want us here. We're too young. We'll go to NA. NA, not great. Let me try CA. A lot of people fit into CA as their last resort. But that not only they fit
MARA, M-A-R-A?
I have.
Medication assisted
recovery?
recovery?
You used to run one, didn't you?
Yes, I used to run one up to the stroke, and I did a couple online, and I'm looking to get it back going. I get a lot of inquiries about it, but it's basically everything that you're not allowed to be on if you're in one of the other groups.
Right.
antidepressant, Paxil, medical marijuana, recreational marijuana. We really don't care as long as you're not using fentanyl, going to die tonight, or stole grandmom's money.
Right.
It's a whole different way of recovery. And, people can go on their website, Mara, and look it up. It's pretty, it's been around for a while. And
Well,
I know
it's an
South
important
Jersey has
thing.
2 meetings.
South Jersey does.
South Jersey has 2
Yeah.
meetings.
I mean, it's a hot issue because there's a lot of people in our generation that are now on Suboxone for the rest of their life. And I mean, I don't know if
And they can't speak in a meeting, which is crazy.
Right. Well, I mean, my advice for those people is don't tell anybody you're on Suboxone. Take it for what it is.
See,
and
but
speak
you're
at the
going
meetings.
in there. See, and I understand why. And
Yep.
Nick, I get it.
It
But
takes
what I'm
away
saying
from
is
the.
you're going in there lying to
Well,
a
I'm
group.
saying
Why
it.
do I have to lie? The group needs to change.
You're
The
right.
group needs to stop. The group
Right.
needs to adapt. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? I don't want to go in there to a group where I can bare my soul lying that I'm not on Suboxone.
Me, I'm finding the lesser of two evils in that respect. I'm not saying go
But
lie
why
about
does
your
there
own
have
stuff.
to be?
Right.
And
Exactly.
this
I
is
mean,
why there's
honestly, look, you don't have
medication-assisted.
people. Listen, people don't go to meetings all the time to just speak. So that if you're on something, okay, then
Right.
don't speak. Just go listen. You're there for the message. You're not there
Exactly.
to. 90% of the people towards the end of my time going to meetings, I haven't been to a meeting in a minute, but I still have my networking of Narcotics Anonymous people and Alcoholics Anonymous people and things like that. But they just don't shut the frig up, man.
No
They go to a
kidding.
meeting. I know this one dude, he used to wait till 10 minutes to that meeting's over. And this mother would just
Not stop talking.
but listen, just shut up and listen. That's it.
All right.
You know what somebody told me once about a meeting? And there's many times that you have to question, is this meeting about the people this person's talking to, the speaker is, or is it about the speaker? Is it
Right.
like his world tour of his
Exactly.
history, like he's on tour?
Yep.
But-
He's doing his circuit.
Right. And this guy told me one time, it was in the middle of the night, and it really always stuck with me was he's never got up from a meeting and walked out. And the reason he's never got up is because it could mean something to somebody else that's in there. There
Right.
could be one guy in there, usually with an open mouth, that maybe this is the one that's going to flip the switch for him. So they're going to give up 40 minutes of their life to listen to this guy go on and on.
Right.
But they're not doing it for them or for the guy. They're doing it unselfishly for the one guy that this might hit home for.
Right. Right.
And that was their way of giving back. That there's
Right.
somebody in here that this may be connecting with. Although I think it's bullshit and I want to go to hell home, I'm going to stay. Because if I get up, that guy over there with the open mouth may get up with me. So let me not and stay for him.
That's a good point. I mean,
that's how I get through me. That's how he would get through the meetings that he didn't want to be at.
I mean, listen, you know how I got through meetings? I listened, right? And I listened to the message, and I didn't know when the miracle was going to happen, as they say. Also, I knew that if when I was younger and someone had a bag of blow, I would drive in a snowstorm smoking a blunt, and I'm the only one on the highway driving 45 minutes when it's a state warning. And
been
if
there,
I
done
could
that.
go do that, to go do what I want, I could sit my ass in a meeting, stay off my phone, and get the knowledge I need.
It's empathy, and it was unselfishness every time you say when you don't. And
you don't have to give somebody recovery.
One of the steps. That should be one of the steps.
Yeah, step 14.
Saying
13 is
you don't belong at.
Well, like that. That could listen. You don't have to shove recovery down somebody's throat. You don't have to. If you just do a kind thing for someone, tell them you look good today. That may be the only thing they hear for a couple of weeks where it's a compliment. And I know, like when I worked at that rehab we worked at, I would tell everybody, hey, you're looking good. You know, they would be like, really? I look good? I'm like, actually, no, you look like shit. But no, I didn't say that part. But no, like I would tell people that and you see them brighten up. Like, so if that's all you do and it changes their mindset just a little bit and then they hear something, and like the whole part of recovery is you can't keep what you have unless you're giving it away. That is true. I mean, better to give than receive. I mean,
I need to ask you both something. When I was working there and was giving out my little pills in the closet, and where we all teamed up, where the Wonder Triplets powers were developed, the three
Yeah.
of us. So they would open the meetings to the outside,
Hmm.
okay?
Yeah.
And then they would bring in people that had only been there for one day or that day
Yeah.
or 48 hours. They've been in recovery for their first time. How did that dynamic work when you
It
had
was
these old heads coming in off the street to speak, and you had these people that I was trying to medicate that had never been at a meeting or anything like it? How did that gel in there with
well.
old and new? How
I'm
did
sure.
that work?
I'm sure Nick has his own feelings about it, but I've seen it and I've been it. Like you said, that's an easy room for someone who's starting speaking, who's got an ego. It's an easy room to run. You know, these guys are banged up, and they'll always say, "I was sitting in those chairs once," and and
Yeah.
like they'll talk down to you. Some will.
Yeah.
Some will come in and they're nodding off. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's hard to go in and listen to that right off the bat. It's this very rarely are these
Well, the
people that
nodding
are
off would be my fault from
well,
what I
right,
gave them,
exactly,
probably.
overdosing on Librium.
But
The It's hard for people who just came into rehab, never have heard AA, NA. This could shut them off instantly. You could
I always worried about that. It's funny you
shut them
said
off
that.
instantly, and it could be one bad speaker, and they're like, "F this whole place. None
Yeah.
of this works. That guy's an asshole. If that's recovery, I don't want it." Blah 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 blah. Blah. And then they're AMA.
Honestly, it's tough too, because you think of it like this. I think about how many times I ran a meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in
Especially the
almost,
ones that I'm actually talking about.
yeah.
I
So,
remember, right.
but it's also just thinking about ones when you're working there. You're running. I mean, you're running the late night meeting, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
It's like Sunday nights or something.
these detox guys, you could have them freaking not paying attention, but they're there.
Right.
But they're getting the momentum. It's kind of like, okay, meeting 8 o'clock. It's
Right.
getting them to really build up a routine, because getting high, there's a routine on getting high.
Right.
And that's just getting high.
Yep.
Now your routine up, this is this is that, this is this time, meeting, this, snack time, whatever.
Right.
Even though the most important time for them was snack time and cigarette break.
Yep.
But it got to the point where eventually people are going to start understanding what the heck is actually happening.
Right.
And if you're open-minded, not closed-minded people, you will not be successful.
Nope.
You have to be open. You have to be open to change. You have to be open to suggestions. You don't talk at people, talk to people.
Right.
So if you have guys coming in and saying, "Hey, I used to be where you're at, blah, blah, blah." Okay. Yeah. Okay, dude, we get it. You know what I mean? But if you have a guy that's showing where a lot of times those people talk about their past way too much.
Right. Right.
They want to glorify their past.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost like their personal story world tour sometimes.
Right.
But when you go through recovery, my first celebrations, my whole meeting when I'd be celebrating was almost the past. And then this much, where's the camera? This much of what I did, and then this much of what I'm doing now. Then it went from this to this to this. Then it went from the past to what I did. Where's the camera? There it is. To what I'm doing. So it throughout time, how you're feeling, where you're at, and everything like that, you will improve on what you speak about. A lot of times people take those commitments. They come in. It's a commitment for their own recovery. People don't look at that. They just look at these Joe Schmo showing up. Oh man, this guy sucked, blah, blah, blah. But what is he doing? He's doing a commitment for his own recovery to keep him clean.
So a lot of people don't know that. They'll think like, who is this guy? When you get to be where he's at, if he's a decent guy, most people are, not to bash on everybody. Most people are decent. They just may come off the wrong way. Like I know I do. I can rub people the wrong way. But like most people are genuine, or they're trying to impress you, like, or whatever. That doesn't mean they're a bad person. And you got to that comes back to everything we're talking about: the open-mindedness, closed-mindedness, the ego, the humility. Like for me, it took several times to realize I'm not getting it. I could speak up a storm and have the whole meeting going and people clapping at the end. How I was the only guy that got claps, I was back in there a month later. It's you got to keep your head. I mean, I'll speak for me. I have to keep my head on straight and realize that I'm one bad decision away from burning it all to the ground. possibly for the last time. And I really don't know if I have any more runs in me. I definitely, I
No.
mean, I don't. Honestly, I don't. It's death. My last one was death. It never happened. I'm done. So,
it's so big that you said that, dude. One decision, all this work that I put out, people don't weigh the consequences, right? I know right now, if I get high, and I can go get high if I chose to.
Sure.
But I choose not to, because after a while, you're not forced to stay clean. It's a choice to stay clean.
Yep.
So I'm here. If I get high now, I'm going to lose the business. Not right now, but I will lose the business that I just worked so hard on. I'm going to eventually lose my girl. Then I'm going to lose the love of my family again. They're going to disown me. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm going to get kicked out of my townhouse. I'm going to lose my truck. I'm going to be homeless under Atlantic City. And that's all for one decision, dude. There's no coming back.
You're right. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of families don't understand. A lot of patients don't understand it. They don't realize you can't get high just once, you know? Once too many, thousand never enough, that whole thing. You know, they may be younger, they may be able to get high and go on for 2 weeks, but those runs get shorter, and that's a fact. Like,
I used to tell people, especially some alcoholics, that you have to think of yourself as Native American. And I'm going to go from the medical point of view. There is a genealogy fact that alcohol affects Native American differently.
How so?
It's something with their blood or their addiction for alcohol.
So better or worse? Do they get more fucked up if they're Native American?
They're more susceptible to alcoholism from drinking.
From genealogy, sure.
Like sickle cell with African Americans.
I'm like, you are walking a fine line.
I'm telling you, look what we did as the settlers. We got them all drunk and bought Manhattan for $24.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So you have to think yourself as a American Indian. That it's like poison.
Yeah,
you can't drink a little bit. It's poison. There's no going back.
It takes some people some time.
You might want to edit that whole thing out.
That's fine. I don't give a shit.
I don't know what just happened.
Me neither. I don't know where am I? What's going on?
Native American people, they become the Indians become drunk.
I know. I heard you.
They're more susceptible to becoming drunks.
Like, what about Irish people? That's like their whole stigma.
That's a choice. This is not like a genealogical.
We can't take you anywhere. So, like, I get it. Like, it's all a choice. It's experience too. You might have to be beat down 10 times to be like, not worth it anymore.
That's why relapse is part of recovery.
And I used to think that was bullshit. They're
going to test it. You're going to test it.
How can
the alcohol will test it.
How can you say that you're going to relapse? How are they supposed to recover? Well, the dirty truth is they're probably going to get high a few more times. If them being in rehab wasn't that big of a deal and it's kind of fun and, they're probably going to get high again. Well, like, that is a part of recovery in the sense that they survive it. A lot of people aren't surviving if they survive it. So
with alcohol, it was always to go back to being a functional social drinker. They always want to get back to just being because it is a legal substance.
Right.
It is mainstream. They just want to be back to being a functional drunk.
Right.
They want to go to a wedding and have a couple drinks and laugh with their friends. It'll never happen. They have to treat themselves like they're American Indians, where one drink and the party's over.
Listen, I mean, how many times if I had $1 for every time I heard that fucking shit, how people want to go back to their old life, I'd be a freaking millionaire.
Billionaire. I know.
Listen, you have to accept the fact that you just can't do it
ever again. I accepted
the fact that I know that I can't be going to do any of that stuff, and I'm okay with it. My life now is better than it ever has been. Yeah. And I can't stand people who are like, yeah, I was in rehab and now, I smoke some marijuana and, but I'm clean off everything else. Bro, I don't give a fuck. You got to be clean off everything. You have to. But look, you can't say, and now the maintenance thing, that's a whole other thing. I'm not talking about the maintenance. I'm just talking about the self-medicated,
recreational, having fun, getting high.
My ex is a perfect example. She was maintenance, and then all of a sudden she was what's it called? She started drinking. Drinking was never her issue. I tried to get everybody on board, right?
It's going to
mom,
become her
dad,
issue, though.
Yeah, her dad, her sister, her aunt, her uncle, who the fuck knows? Everybody.
Yeah.
But because it was just me talking about it, it was a Nick issue, not a whole issue. Right. So next thing you know, drinking was never her issue, but I'm clean off the hard drugs, Months later, dad's calling me crying because she's out there shooting meth again.
Sure.
I mean, it's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
It's not the drugs, it's the behaviors.
All right. Well, let me kind of close it up by saying this.
Let's go, Dad.
We're doing this for someone who needs it. We're here to help people. And we're just here to riff. You know, we're the same as everybody else. Just we're at different stages of life. And you know, I can be the example for one generation or a group of people. Nick's he hits with another group of people. Yeah. Mikey can hit to the sober side of things and what he's seen there. I mean, listen, we got a great thing going on. I love you guys to death. This was a great freaking episode, man. We hit on everything.
What'd you expect, bro? We're dogs. We're fucking dogs.
We are good. I'm going out to the recovery community with this episode. I think it's going to hit a lot of people. We'll stay on top of it. We're accessible 24/7, or I am, and I'll pull Nick in if we need Nick's help. I'll pull Mike in if we need medical help.
You always can.
We're not doing this to grandstand. We're not that NA guy coming in and doing the world tour of being a speaker. We are simply doing this because, like we said earlier, giving it back is for our recovery. This is for our recovery. We are being selfish by doing this podcast in that respect. So we have a lot going on. Nick, thank you so much. Mike, I'm going to put the screen up. If someone you know is struggling with addiction, contact us. The number's there. You can email us to our website at any time. That's what we're doing this for. We're not doing this to be to be a big shot, then put down the camera and then not talk to anybody or do anything. That's not how we are. That's not how Nick has been for 7 years. That's not how I've been. That's not how Mike is. Mike will do anything for anybody at any time. We are blessed with a lot. I mean, we're not going to go into bridge collapses or P. Diddy or solar eclipses or anything like that. This episode, we're going to wrap this thing up here. And this is, we touched on so many good topics. We're really getting our footing. We appreciate the 600 plus people that listened to us last week. I think this week will be even better.
Let's go.
Let's go, boys. I love you. Just hang in with me. We're going to have a good show here moving forward. So thanks a lot, boys. See, I told you it was going to be good. You should listen to me more often. I know what I'm talking about. 5% of the time. We had a great episode. We touched on a lot of stuff recovery based. We're grateful for the support that we've garnered through this whole thing. We're not here to promote anything, sell anything. We're just here to help the fellow addict figure it out and their family to figure it out. So we're grateful for all of you that have listened. If you have any feedback, feel free to reach out to me. And if you're struggling with addiction or you know someone that is, you can call me. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that, but I mean, you're welcome to call me. I'm putting myself out there. I'm not accredited in any way, but you can give me a call, and I can point you in the right direction, or talk to your loved one. I don't know. But I'm here, and you're welcome to reach out to me. Again, my number is there on the screen, 609-384-0100. You can also email me through our website and our Twitter and all that stuff. So that being said, thank you to Mike and Nick for a great time. We did a good job this episode, I think. A little pat on the back for myself. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all you do. Stay clean. Stay safe. We love you. Bye-bye.